If you could earn a PhD in male bonding, Sebastian Junger would be a Phi Beta Kappa. After the blockbuster success of The Perfect Storm, he spent nearly 2 decades chronicling the brutality of war and the enduring bond between soldiers in combat. But leaving it all behind brought a different challenge. So tonight, a new journey begins, and we're along for the last patrol.
Just got hit by ACM across the valley.
For nearly 20 years, Sebastian Junger covered the adrenaline highs
to the left of it!
and the soul-crushing lows of combat.
I know, man. I know.
Come on, pull it together, man.
In war zones, from Bosnia to Afghanistan.
We got down behind this wall, started shooting back, and called in artillery to hit the hillside opposite us.
Junger embedded for roughly a year with the 173rd Airborne, fighting the Taliban in the Afghan valley of Korangal.
We both were almost killed out there. Tim broke his leg in combat. I got blown up by an IED.
He and war photographer Tim Hetherington risked their lives to bring Nightline this footage in 2007 in a joint project with Vanity Fair. Later, it was included in the Oscar-nominated documentary Restrepo, named after a platoon medic killed in battle.
I need to get close to the action. I mean, that's, as a cameraman in combat, you need to be close to where it's at.
But on yet another war in Libya 2011, Hetherington was killed by shrapnel at the age of 40.
He bled out in the back of a pickup truck.
His death was a turning point for Junger.
Because Tim died, I was never going to cover war again. I was done. I got out.
And that's where his newest film begins. While mourning his dear friend, Junger discovered a chilling piece of old footage shot by Tim as the two traveled by train from D.C. to New York.
Look at this, man. Imagine walking through this now. Can you imagine that amazing trip that would be? There's not even any fencing off the railroad.
It's me and Sebastian. We're checking out the next story.
Need to do it.
What was that moment like when you saw that piece of footage?
When we found that clip on his hard drive, it was absolutely heartbreaking and chilling. I felt incredibly guilty that I should have been there with him. Maybe I could have saved him. Maybe it should have been me instead of him. I understand it's not a rational thought, but it reminded me of all these soldiers that I knew who felt like they were responsible for the deaths of their friends. As part of PTSD, it was pretty debilitating for a while.
So he set out on the last patrol with a new band of brothers, just as he and Hetherington vowed they would, to rediscover America after so many years of overseas battles. It's his latest documentary for HBO.
I still made the trip we'd planned, but I went with Guillermo, a photographer who'd actually been holding Tim's hand when he died, and with Brendan and Dave, 2 soldiers Tim and I had known in Afghanistan. The 4 of us would set out from Washington, D.C. and walk north in a kind of high-speed vagrancy right up the East Coast.
But walking along the tracks is illegal. To avoid detection, they camped out with no tents and lived off the land as much as possible.
Daisy was my pillow all night long. Check it out. She doesn't care. She likes it. It's a heated pillow.
It's a furry pillow.
If you could buy that at Walmart, people would buy it.
The dog-ass pillow.
Throughout the journey, the men must dodge Amtrak police, which mimics the danger of combat foot patrols.
The more dangerous something is, the harder something is, the closer people are driven together. We were bathing in rivers and cooking on little twig fires in the woods and actively evading the police.
Junger says it's more than the adrenaline rush of warfare that soldiers miss. It's something far more poignant.
What's happening is they're encountering something very truly real and good in combat that they can't get in society. And what they're encountering is the powerful bonds of brotherhood.
Junger first met Brendan O'Byrne as a highly competent soldier in Restrepo. He admitted to struggling with alcoholism when he returned to civilian life.
When I was in Afghanistan, I watched people literally die for each other. And I come back to a society that honks at me if I've taken too long to make a right-hand turn.
But the last patrol brought about a change.
Brendan was always the guy who would jump up and do what needed to be done. Sometimes it was running up a hill to see if there was a good place to sleep at the top of a hill. Was there water up ahead? Just so that not everyone would have to walk that distance, he would run it and then come back. And that's the Brendan that I remembered from Afghanistan, and that's what came out during the patrol.
But after the 300-mile journey, O'Byrne has been sober a year.
War is simple compared to reentry. So soldiers come back from a very unified experience where no one cares if you're gay or straight or Republican or Democrat or Harvard educated or your dad's in prison, no one cares. And then you come back to America where we're a completely politically divided and economically and racially divided society. And I think it's appalling to soldiers.
In the film, all 4 men are troubled by post-traumatic stress, and the emotion bubbles up when they see a stray dog get killed by a car.
I don't deal with death well, man. I don't deal with that. Like, that's not a good thing for me to see ever.
It really triggered a reaction in Brendan. And then Dave asked this kind of profound question. He said, if you're really upset that the dog got killed, does that mean you have PTSD? Or if it didn't bother you at all, does that mean you have PTSD? Which is it?
If you feel nothing, that's not good either.
The trick to a healthy life and reintegrating into society after war is to get there in the middle somewhere.
Wait.
For the men on the last patrol, the journey is a way to finally move on.
This long walk that we've been doing, do you think it's helped at all make the transition from combat reporter to whatever you would call yourself now?
I'm here because I know you because of Tim.
Slow down, 50 meters.
And I think about it. I think, why I'm here and this happened and what can I do? It's in your mind. It's otherwise you will go, keep on going and don't remind just being bad. Here makes you face your problem.
Photographer Guillermo Cervera returned to the front lines to cover the conflict in Ukraine. But Junger says after losing Tim Hetherington in Libya, he is truly done with combat, making this 300-mile walk a search for purpose and meaning outside the combat zone.
Did this help you find meaning in Tim's death?
I guess maybe what you're asking, and I think what it did do, was allow me to construct something good out of something bad.
A fitting tribute. The Last Patrol premieres November 10th on HBO.